Okay, so I'm gonna open here. If he shoves, I'm gonna call, and I hope he doesn't flat. Okay, so small blind, big blind. That the dynamic that we have makes it that I feel like I'm sort of obligated to call this. Getting about what 3-2 on a call. It's so close. I think I have to call though, just because the amount of time he shows up with worse, so we're flipping, and we are flipping, but not looking good after the flop. Not good. Ends up doubling up through me. I mean, I think he's doing that with, he's obviously gonna do that with twos, threes, fours, not just hands as strong as eights, ace jack, and like better aces. I think he could be doing that with worse aces as well, which is why I think the call there with ace nine was fine. I mean, my raise was to induce worse to shove. I could have just opened shove, but I figured that would allow him to play perfectly in deciding what to call, because he probably has a general idea of how wide I'm gonna open and how to react to that. I don't really like raising here. You're too short, really. You have 12, 13 big blinds. 10 jacks off, decent hand from the cutoff. Four-handed, I think it's pretty close, but it's a shove. And because it gets through a lot of the time, so you'll win those chips in the middle just through your fold equity. Fold equity meaning, the amount of times they'll fold and the amount of money in the pot that you're going to win because of that. Definite spot for a raise call here, although I'm not really sure what to do if Patrice shoves. And this guy ends, we're now three-handed at this table. Again, this hand, I'm not deep enough to raise call or raise fold really, plus I don't like getting flatted, and this hand is pretty fucking strong from the button, so it's a pretty easy shove. Here I'm going to just open, and I got called here by slightly. Wow, that was the one hand you do not want to get called by, really. Diamond, nope. Busted in third place at this table, which is unfortunate. Oh, and I ended up checking back the turn here because I'm just figuring there are a lot of hands he's calling with on the flop that are beating me. But on the river I end up hitting top pair, top kicker, so I'm probably going to have to call his bet down here. I mean, there's not many, and he checks, which pretty much guarantees I have the best hand. So I'm going to bet 600, hoping to get a call out of a 10 or pocket 9s, pocket 8s. Based on others I play this hand, I definitely don't have a 10, so I'm just pretty much repping the queen. And he's going to have to think for a second. He checked the flop, checked the turn, and checked the river, so he's probably not that strong. He might have had a 6 or 7 there. In regard to losing at that table, I think my call earlier at the ace-9 was fine. It was a very close spot, though. I just figured, considering he had about 18 big blind, he should be shoving a wide range there, and he's I mean, he could be flatting, I guess, some worse hands and some better hands, like even ace-10 he could flat instead of shove. But I just didn't see him doing that. I just didn't think he would, so again, ace-9 a bit questionable, but I'm still fine with it. If anyone has any criticisms in that play, just leave it in the comment box below. Raise calling either one of these two here. I mean, Patrice is clearly a decent player, and he knows I've been opening wide on the button, so just from that dynamic I should be calling his shoves, especially since he only has about, I don't know, what was it, 14 big blinds? And especially if he shoves, because he's really, really short right now. He needs to definitely make a move. I would say he should be shoving 70-80% here, for sure. Just most of his hands, and this guy should be adjusting by calling pretty wide, but this guy's still playing pretty tight, waiting for hands, which isn't a great idea when you're this short, because if those hands don't come, you're gonna find you're in a world of hurt. Good steal from him, but on the off chance I get flatted, I don't want to have to bet fold the flop, or continuation bet fold the flop, which I'm probably going to have to do a lot because 8-5 isn't the greatest hand. He shoves. Oh, it's a pretty weird spot actually for me. He's a fairly tight player, but at the same time, he's so short. I feel like he does this with a lot of hands worse than ace-8. I just think it's too risky considering the lead I have, and I can pick a better spot. I timed out anyway, but it was probably folding. Pretty close. I think I call ace-9, but ace-8 just a little off. Ace-8 off, just too much. Effective stacks now. I have 25 big blinds. He has 10. He has 3, and he has 5.5. These two are very, very short right now. So short that I actually might have to. I think I have to mathematically call his shove if he shoved here. But this guy ends up opening. I would have used the bubble here and just reshove against him even with 7 deuce, honestly, because it should be folding a lot of hands, but we're not technically on the bubble, and I don't know exactly how good of a player he is that he should know that ICM dictates he should only be calling with, pocket queens and better. And, I just don't want him to end up calling there if I ended up shoving, even with 7 deuce. 6 deuce. See, if I raise here, I'm just committed to calling him because he is so short. I just don't want to even bother a 6 deuce. But he clearly wants to take the rest of his chips, so he'll just shove. Gets called. Honestly, he just wanted his chips. He didn't really care because he knows he has 2 random cards here, and they're not all the time going to be ahead. But now all 3 of these players are about equal, so if I pick up some hands, this could be really good for me, but sort of card dead right now. Shove and a call, king, queen, fine call, fine shove. I don't see anything any player did wrong in this spot. He just wrote ... I guess that means he's mad. Fish. That's not very nice. I would have obviously folded if he shoved, even though he only has 5 big blinds. These two... He limps, which... You see, if I limp here, he's going to end up shoving for an extra 300, so I don't want to have to call 400 chips with 310 offsuit. Especially since this guy just did it for me, luckily, so he'll be committed to doing whatever. He's going to stop and go, he's going to shove any flop, obvious. Or not. I don't know exactly what he's doing there. He has no chips. He should have just gone in with whatever 2 cards he had there. I'm going to open, hopefully take down the blinds, flash the rest of his chips. But he ends up having a better hand than me, and a fish with a 40%. Oh god, these guys are like, jeez. Ego contest between poker players. Not a pretty sight. These two have 4 big blinds. I'm amazed they're still here. I'm amazed I haven't picked up a hand to call them with as well. King 2 might have actually been a call, because he's that short that I might actually have to call him with a king and a 2. I'm calling him if he shoves, and which would pretty much make him committed to go all in. Ace 5. I know he's tight. The thing is, he is tight, and I know he's going to do this with a lot of worse hands, but obviously a lot of better hands too. I just don't think he's that patient with 4 big blinds that he's waiting for 7s or better, but that actually is what he's waiting for. And I've lost 1,000 chips off of these small double ups these people keep getting, and he should be calling here any 2 cards. He's shoving any 2. He's getting 2 to 1, so he should be calling any 2. But again, these guys just keep winning these hands, so another double up for him. Shove, folds, and 7 big blind for both of them. Wow, moving up in the world for sure. I'd call with queen 10 if he shoved, even against this ridiculously tight player. I'd shove jack 6 suited. I'd probably shove jack 8 offsuit, but jack 6 just seems a bit too light. Just a bit, and I still have a chip lead I want to maintain, so I think a raise fold here is fine. If I raise 400 and he shoves for 1600 total, still don't have to call him, so it's it's fine to raise call, raise fold here.